Hey, everybody, welcome to Money Matters, where we simplify all things financial to help you better understand your finances. So, today we're talking about stress testing your financial plan. I mean, when was the last time you did that? So, luckily, we have Marshall Goins here with us today, investment advisor and financial independence guru. And he's going to help us understand a little bit better about why you need to be stress testing your financial plan, right?
That's right. How are you, Mickey? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Good to see you again. It's been a while since we were on here together.
Yeah, it has been, but it's always great to have you back. I am excited to dig into this topic because more recently, you and I developed a really great tool for this. It's the 15-minute Wealth Accelerator Checklist.
Right.
And it's a great checklist, everybody. And we'll get into how you can download it, and it's free. Don't worry, And it just covers so much. And we're getting such positive feedback about from different people who have been downloading it, and they're just like, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we need to just kind of dig in about how this helps people. So when people hear the phrase stress testing your retirement plan, I mean, what does that actually mean? And quite frankly, while we're on it, why are people so resistant to skip or to actually engage in this step?
Right.
Why are they skipping it?
Well, I think they skip it out of fear, right? There's this fear that, there's stuff there they're not going to be able to resolve or fix. But the thing that's great about this process is a checklist, right? You know who uses checklists a lot, and I'm very thankful they use checklists a lot. You do?
Oh, I can't live without my checklist.
No, I was thinking of airline pilots.
Oh, yeah.
They always use a checklist. And I remember not too long ago looking out and seeing the pilot under the big 737 looking and checking stuff, right?
Yeah.
A checklist. They have a pre-flight checklist they go through.
Absolutely.
And you know why they do that?
Why, Marshall? Why do they do that?
Because as humans, we are really bad at remembering stuff.
That's a good point.
We forget stuff so much. Sure. And so nothing worse than being up in that jet and realize, I forgot to check the thing over there.
That would not be a good thing.
No. Well, it's the same with your retirement plan, right? You're up in the air and you're cruising along and you haven't done a checklist. You haven't checked to see where the weak points are of your plan. And so people, planning is not a set it and forget it thing. I tell people it's an ongoing process that you're continually working on and updating because life changes. Things change. The only constant, Nikki, is change.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Right? Look at us agreeing. Wow. No, I absolutely agree with you. And I do, as somebody who is very checklist driven, I can appreciate a solid checklist because I might, without remembering, every little bit, I might personally, as a regular folk person here, I might remember a few things to keep up on, but remembering all the different little aspects of making sure that all my finances are in check. I need my checklist.
Right. So. Exactly. So, so some of the key blind spots people fall into are things they don't think about. Are number one, longevity. Right? Yeah. Longevity. People don't realize how long, and so I've said this before, but life expectancy in the U.S. is around 77, 78. But when a couple get into their 60s, it goes way up above 77, 78, right? It goes up in the early 90s. And so you think about a couple in their late 50s, early 60s, they got a long horizon. And so you need to start reviewing that plan because when you're 30 years old or 40 years old, putting a plan together or thinking about it, you don't realize what that feels like, To be 70 in your mid 70s, there's it's not a bad spot because I'm not that far from it. It's not a bad spot.
But that's okay. It's a good point. It's a good point, but come on.
Right. So there's that, and then there's taxes, right? You gotta taxes. Taxes are your biggest expense in retirement. And so you have to figure out strategies and ways of doing that. And there's lots of things to look at, and this checklist will bring these things to mind because we don't remember what we don't remember, right?
Exactly. That's the whole point. Exactly. And that's why I really like that checklist that we put together, because it's really a great way to quickly reference all those different areas and identify where you might have some blind spots, because they're there. I mean, and Marshall, I mean, before we go any further, I just want to mention this for people who are watching. So if you're realizing right now that your plan hasn't been pressure tested in a while, then you should reach out to us for that 15-minute Wealth Accelerator checklist, because it will help you quickly identify some of those areas that we're talking about today. And it walks you through things like tax exposure and income sequencing and whether or not your accounts are structured efficiently. So that's really important too. And you can download it right now. I'm going to put the link right here. There you go. It's clarionadvisors.com/CA15 Wealth Checklist. So I probably should add that too. Yeah, I'll put it in the description too.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is outdated plans, right?
Oh my goodness. I know. People think that they're all set, and this is like 10, 15 years ago. Right.
And so things change, right? Things change. And like I said, it's an ongoing process. And so, what happens is, life happens and you don't think about your plan, right? Somebody passes away, you get a new grandchild, relationships change.
Yes.
I don't need to drill into that, but you know what that means, right?
Oh yeah. I think we all know what that means.
Yeah. And so the worst part is you get to a point where you realize you didn't update your plan, or you didn't update your beneficiaries and all that. Right. So that's an important part of keeping the plan up to date and checking it on a regular basis. That's an important element of this.
Oh, absolutely. And again, I mean, those of you who put together your plan like a zillion years ago, you might want to get back on it. So something that I think is kind of interesting is the successful but misaligned problem. I mean, we've talked about before how someone can be financially successful and still be strategically misaligned.
Right.
What does that actually look like?
Yeah. Well, it looks like a great investment, a great investment strategy, and things are going well. Maybe the business is going well. You're getting close to retirement, but you haven't optimized for your biggest expenses like taxes, right? You haven't optimized for longevity. You haven't optimized for the way you take the money out of the account to get the best result. There's a lot of efforts you can make, related to, there's different phases of retirement, right? Where you're not qualified for Medicare yet, right? You're paying for certain healthcare expenses, and then you qualify, and there's other things that can get you after that cost you thousands of dollars if you don't understand these different, what are they called? These different elements of the between Social Security, Medicare, all kinds of things that can happen there. And we have some cool tools, some planning tools that we use that help us visualize and see these places and optimize, right? Optimize for these tax exposures, medical costs, all these things.
Yeah, and it helps to keep you on track. So because things can go differently over time. So it's just a really good.
Yeah. And people don't know what they don't know when it comes to tax laws and the way Social Security works and the way Medicare works, and where your income is relative to all that. The rules are just so ridiculously complicated that it's hard to figure out on your own. That's why you got to use these tools to put your stuff in there and figure this whole thing out. Right. Yeah.
So to that point, if someone is wanting to do a quick gut check, if you will, what are the most important things they should be reviewing right now?
Well, they should, like I always talk about the 5 pillars of a plan, right? Investments, right? You look at that first. Income plan, that's Social Security's, pensions, other investments you have. Third is insurance. Insurance is important to look at. The fourth is tax planning. We talked about taxes. And the fifth is estate plans, right? Trust, wills, and beneficiaries. So those are the quick, high level things to look at. And then, rarely do we sit down with somebody and go through this checklist, right? The 15-minute checklist, and we don't find something that needs attention.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. We've had people say they're going through it and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even consider this and that and this. So
that's right.
That's been very beneficial for them to be able to check on that. Yeah.
So it's easy to do nowadays. We have Zoom, we have phone calls, which have been around a long time, but Zoom is a new thing. And we are doing so many Zoom calls with folks because, it's nice to see someone's face. It's not as good as being in person, but we can make a lot of progress, and it's efficient and helps people go through this. So schedule some time and we'll spend 15 minutes and go through that checklist and see what we need to work on.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, you have a link where people can schedule a quick, like a 15-minute clarity call.
Right.
So it's no obligation. It's not a sales thing or anything. It's just clarity. That's all.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. So check that out. I have that in the description as well. So feel free to not only download the checklist today, but schedule a call with Marshall. It'll be 15 minutes. That is well worth it.
Well, a lot of people are intimidated talking to professionals, advisors, CPAs. Don't be. We'll keep it comfortable and casual, and no pressure. We'll make this easy for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure you check it out and go download it right now. You're gonna need it, and schedule an appointment with Marshall. So I want to thank you all for joining us today on Money Matters, where smart planning leads to confident, strategic decisions for your financial future.
That's right. Thanks, Mickey. Great job.
Thank you, Marshall. I'm sure everyone enjoyed all these great tips from you. So we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.